Hello.
Hi, Dan. Are you okay?
I'm good.
Good. Okay.
Oh, we got transcript. Yeah, I'll let you crack on.
Okay. Oh, yes, so we have. Ooh, okay.
Cool.
I don't actually know how that's done that. Okay. Okay. I'm having technical issues. Bear with me, everybody. I think we've got a few more people to join yet anyway. We're not quite at 4 o'clock.
Hello.
Hi, April. Welcome.
Hi.
I'm just giving people another minute or so to join. I was also just trying to sort out a technical problem that I'm not sure I can do, so I'm just going to have to find a way through.
Plow on.
So Katie, I think in order for me to be able to see the PowerPoint properly to present, I lose sight of everybody, so I won't be able to see the question and answers or anything.
Yeah, that's all right. I can keep an eye on that.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to leave that with you.
No problem.
And are we automatically recording? Is there Erin, are you? Oh, I don't know if she'll be able to talk to me.
I've got a record and transcribe button, but when the start recording button is greyed out, so I'm assuming that means it's already recording.
I think it automatically started, so
okay.
That's what I was told. Sorry, everybody. First time doing a live. We will get there. Okay. I haven't got an option to start a recording, so I'm assuming that means it is. Okay, it is 2 minutes past 4, so I am going to make a start. Hopefully more people will drift in as we go. So bear with me while I just switch my screen to where I need to be. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I hope that you are all here to find out about the social work degree apprenticeship that we currently have advertised on the Dorset Council Children's Services website. If you're not, then you're in the wrong place, but you are still more than welcome to stay with us. This afternoon, I am going to share with you information about working for Dorset Council, the apprenticeship itself, as well as some top tips about applying and the interview process. If you could please use the question and answer function to ask any questions, and at the end of the presentation we'll go through as many of those as we can. I have the lovely Katie on the call with me, who is going to be keeping track of those for me. I don't think you have the option, but in case you do, if you could please keep your microphones muted and your cameras off, but I think that's all set up to do that anyway. Please bear with us if there are any technical difficulties. Katie, Dan or April, can you confirm that the PowerPoint is moving on?
It's up. Yep. Yeah, it's all moving on, all okay.
Perfect, thank you. So, firstly, just a little bit about Dorset Council as a whole. So working for Dorset Council gives you a unique opportunity to drive real changes that improve people's lives. You'll feel good knowing that you're helping create a future for Dorset that benefits local communities both now and for generations to come. Our mission at Dorset Council is to create a great place to live, work and visit. The Dorset Council values form part of everything that we do. There are 5 values overall, and they are respect. We value our differences. We treat everybody with fairness, dignity and understanding. Openness. We welcome new ideas. We are honest, positive and inclusive. Together, we combine our strengths with others to achieve a shared purpose and a common goal. And then we have accountability. We take our ownership for our work, our actions and our decisions. And then we have curiosity, finally. We aspire to learn, explore and adapt to new opportunities and experiences. Dorset has a strong commitment to equality. We respect and recognise the unique qualities of every individual brings to our team. That's why we're committed to being an inclusive organisation that supports a diverse workforce, a disability confident employer and a Stonewall diversity champion. It's why we encourage an environment where everybody is a potential leader because we feel we're valued for who we are. And it's why we support a range of employee networks that give different groups a voice to challenge us and promote change. Now, a little bit about Children's Services. So together in Children's Services, we will make Dorset the best place to be a child, where communities thrive and families are supported to be the best that they can. Dorset's Children Thrive is our model for delivering children's services in Dorset. The model brings together many services and support for children and families into 6 integrated locality teams across Dorset. These are supported by a central team of specialist services. Our localities are Purbeck, West, North, East, Chesil and Dorchester. We have opportunities across all our localities for apprenticeship posts. Restorative practice, being strengths-based and using motivational interviewing are our key to our practice and our values in Dorset. Our priorities are to improve the outcomes for children and young people in Dorset, are for them to have the best start in life, be young and thriving, to have access to good care provision and the best education for all. There will be access to local family help and Dorset will be the best place to live where young people feel safe at home and in the community. The plan is that our Thrive model will put children and families first and focus on getting it right the first time. It will make our services easy to access and ensure that we are measuring our success. It will provide good quality, efficient services and develop a skilled and confident workforce. And this is where you come in. We have the opportunity for 7 apprentices to join us and start their studies in September 2026. So, what do we actually mean when we're talking about an apprentice? It's all of these things currently on the screen and possibly much more as well. Apprentices have a dual status as an employee and as a learner, and this allows them to undertake work and knowledge-based training to develop their skills and behaviours required to be a social worker. The Social Work Degree Apprenticeship, and sometimes shortened to the SWDA, is a practice-based learning programme that combines theory and practice-based learning and development delivered flexibly around the demands of our workplace. Apprentices will develop new skills and knowledge whilst carrying out real work as a part of a team. Why do we offer this? Because it's an opportunity for us to grow our own social workers and retain them in our workforce by nurturing them and providing a secure learning environment. Throughout the apprenticeship, you're paid a wage. This is currently at £31,586 and that remains the same for the 3 years. After successful completion of the apprenticeship, you will be offered a newly qualified social work post in Dorset under our assessed and supported during employment scheme, with no need to interview again, which is a bit of a bonus. The Social Work Degree Apprenticeship enables us to provide all of the following things and to create a well-rounded social workers moving into the workforce at the end. The aims of the Social Work Degree Apprenticeship are set out here. and these are a national standard. So it's about providing practice in an environment where apprentices are able to critically reflect on their own practice and values, enabling them to practice effectively and safely and with elements of risk. It's about developing an understanding of research, evidence-based practice and lifelong learning through substantial, independent inquiry and critical inquisitiveness, with a continuum of education and on-the-job training and professional development indicated in the Professional Capabilities Framework. It's to enable apprentices to critically analyse and apply theory and models, issues, including diversity and values, to actively engage with current debates in practice. It's to educate and train individuals to achieve readiness to enter the profession, to reach a standard of eligibility to register with the regulator as a social worker, as a newly qualified social worker, and begin their ASYE, your assessed and supported year in employment. To ensure all apprentices are supported with their learning so that they are able to reach their full potential. So, the course that we currently use, our apprentices study with Southampton Solent University. At the end of that, they're awarded a BA Honours in social work. This currently takes 3 years. During this time, you will attend university 1 day a week, sometimes more, and that then equates to 1 day a week study during the university holidays. There are the other days of the week you're then working in what you call your base team, so that's the team that you will be employed into. As part of the course, you are assigned an academic link at the university. You have regular progress reviews and you complete a record of your learning. Your 4 days a week in your work team equate to the required 80% on-the-job learning, and that's a national apprenticeship requirement. And then your study and your time in university meets the requirements of the 20% off-the-job hours, and you have to evidence that in a portfolio. Some of that at the moment won't be very clear. It will become clearer if you're successful and are taken onto the apprenticeship. So this is just a bit of an outline about the course's units as they currently stand. This may well change by the time you get there. So this is year 1 and the areas of study over the course of the first year. And then we move into year 2. And the units you will study, and during year 2 you'll go on a practice placement in an adults based social care team for 70 days. We find the placements for you and we provide a practice educator. You don't have to worry about any of that. And then year 3, at the moment, I don't have the course information regarding the modules and the units for year 3, but what I can tell you is that you do a 100-day placement at the start of year 3, and that will be in a children's social care team. And again, we find your team, we organise that for you, and we provide you with a practice educator. And there are no course fees to be paid for the apprenticeship or for your study. That's all funded by Dorset as part of your employment with us. So there is also an internal support structure within Dorset for our apprentices, and this is something we've been working to strengthen over the last couple of years. So this now includes what we call a share and learn session that happens roughly every 6 weeks, and this is for all learners in children's services. So it brings together not only our apprentices but also our step up to social work route, any students on external placements in Dorset children's teams, and adult apprentices in children's placements as well. This allows for a really nice mix of peer learning and reflection across all of those different groups. I also offer a group supervision to each apprenticeship year group, allowing them to focus on their skills at the appropriate level for the course and build a sense of belonging in their year groups. I can also offer extra support with assignments and one-to-one supervision as required, and all of the apprentices we currently have on programme know that they can request this at any time. As an employer, we are committed to attending the university reviews, and we provide a practice educator when you're on placements, but not in between when you're in what we call your base team, so your work team, because that's me. I come in and fulfil that role. Okay, we have a really clear structure for roles and responsibilities for our apprentices. So there's no confusion about your needs or your learning journey mixed with what you're asked to do at work. This document is a multi-page document that I've just done a screenshot of the first page, and it's shared with you and those directly supporting you so that everybody is working in the same way. And then any queries or any discussion around that comes back to me to consider. So, what do our current Year 1 apprentices have to say? So we have Dan and April on the call today, and they are going to give you a little bit of a viewpoint of what it's like to be an apprentice.
There we go. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
There we go. Normally we get some sort of feedback because you can see people, but this is a little bit different.
Talking into the abyss a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks a lot for that, Amy. And I think that was, I mean, like Amy's, there's a lot of information there, most of which won't make a lot of sense to people out there, and some of it still doesn't make sense to us, but not in a bad way, just in a way that we haven't quite, got to that point yet. But I don't know how you found it, April, but the amount of support that we've had is quite, I'm very impressed with the amount of support that we've had to get through things so far.
Yes, I would completely agree with that. I think it's been everyone that I've met so far, be that in the apprenticeship with me or the university staff or my colleagues here in child protection, they've all just been so welcoming and friendly and supportive, and I feel like you can ask anyone anything. So it's been really, really good in that perspective, for sure.
Definitely. I think the because you ended up in child protection, and I've ended up in a family help team down in Weymouth in Chesil, and I think I know something that I was thinking about when I applied was this the right job for me? Because it's kind of, even the information people have had so far, it's really hard to decide, is this the right thing for me or not? And some people on the apprenticeship have come because they already worked in children's services, and some of you watching this might be already working in children's services, and the natural progression might feel like, well, I'll do my degree because I'm here anyway. But me and April actually came from, completely different areas and dropped into it. So natural progression makes sense. I think that'll make sense to a lot of people. But how did you fall into this, April?
Oh, me. So
Yeah.
I well, my background was I was a student support worker, and I've done a lot of psychology and neuropsychology, worked in hospitals and things like that. So I came to this with a lot of different experience that is relevant to the job, but not knowing what it would entail. And I think one thing for sure for me coming into this is that I know there is an attractive wage that comes alongside it, but I think it's really important that this is a job that you are passionate about, or that's something you really do want to do, and that is a vocation, because it really is not for the faint-hearted, and it is not an easy route. You're working full-time, you're studying full-time, and there's a lot of juggling and pressure that does go alongside that. So as amazing and fantastic as I am finding it, I think it's very important to be conscientious of the fact that it is a full-on but amazing route. So
and it is, and I think I found it the same. I mean, more recently I've gone through working for the library service and customer service, and then registration, and then ended up here looking for a change. And it's that for me now, it is absolutely the perfect job for me. I love working with people, and I think April's very much the same.
Similar little bunch, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And you get to work in a team, but you get some independence as well. You think about things, you talk to people, there's an element of writing and learning as well is a massive part of it. So it's all very positive. But when you're at the initial stage, it's really hard to know, whether it's right for you. For me personally, I'd say if you're at this stage thinking maybe it's right for me, it's probably worth just applying. And sort of going for it, because the job of the people who interview you look at your application forms, and then the secondary interview, which I think Amy's going to talk about in a bit at uni, it's their job to work out if you're right for this kind of work. It's up to you to give the best, not the best version for the job, but the best version of you, so that they can go, yeah, that is the type of person who fits really well in this role. So I think the best thing people can do applying is to look at themselves and give the best version of themselves and the most honest version of themselves.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think in terms of interviews and things like that, I think something that I did that I found really helpful was looking at the Dorset Council website, looking at their PCFs, and actually having a look at those and thinking, where do they connect or cross over with times in my life or things that I've done, and maybe think of a few examples of situations you've been in that would line up with one of the PCFs, or kind of have that prepared
and
already
that's what I was
before you go
thinking.
into
Yeah,
the
and there's
interview.
the STAR method. So you look at situation, task, the other one, the action, and the whatever happened at the end. I can't remember what the other R stands. The R stands for the situation, the task, and the action, and whatever the R was. Reviewing it, maybe the learning, something like that.
Yeah.
But look it up or Google it, or ChatGPT it, whichever. But if you have a few of those things from your life that you can draw on when you're giving examples, it really helps to have those before. And it doesn't have to be. This is that with me and April and our backgrounds. It doesn't, just because you haven't worked in children's services, it doesn't matter. You'll have experiences in your life, and it's about looking at that big picture of experiences and drawing those in and making them relevant to the person spec and what's being asked. And my favorite thing was actually the uni, once we got past the first stage, the uni interview, because I thought, God, I don't know this stuff. And it didn't matter, because they were really looking at what your personal values, your motivation, who you were, and how you would deal with situations. And they were really trying to dig into how you thought about things. So it very much was more about you as a person than it was about the knowledge that you had, because we've got 3 years of training, and then more and more after that. So
I think
they train
Amy
you up.
Probably doesn't know this, but on the second interview, we had one in real life and one online. I'm not sure if that would be any different for you guys this coming year, but I had Post-its stuck everywhere, all around my laptop, like with all this different bits of information. And I don't think I looked at them once, but just having them there helped. And I think I waved my dog's paw at you all as well, unfortunately. So, but yeah.
This is it. And I think one of my favorite things now, having started it, with the culture is really positive. We've said that there's a lot of support, not just from colleagues and from the likes of Amy and from people at uni and this kind of thing, but we've got a lot of support with the other apprentices as well. But the other side,
like a little family, to be fair, Dan,
it is. It's so
we're really close.
We've bound together so quickly. It's been amazing. And then the benefit of doing it this way, rather than going off to uni, apart from the fact you don't have massive debt and you get a salary, which is obviously a big plus. What we learn in theory at uni, the first semester was the psychology and sociology units, and then now we're doing community and culture and legislation.
Law,
But you doing the apprenticeship, you implement what you learn straight away. So it really embeds your theory, what you learn in theory, to reality. And we've seen a big difference between how we've approached stuff and how the pure university students have approached stuff. And we've definitely got the advantage there of applying theory in practice. The downside is there's a lot to do in 7 days a week. But if you go in knowing that, you find ways of making that a priority.
Yeah, you definitely learn by doing. And I think one thing to be said for Solent is the lecturers are fantastic. And I've done a couple of university degrees, and this one I found them the most engaging, and you really do learn a lot. So I think they really do care, which is really lovely as well.
Yeah, that's it. I saw someone asked about the days, the study day. We have one during the term time, so about 2/3 of the year, I suppose it is. We are in university in Southampton on a Monday. I know April drives up. I catch the train up, because then I can do some bits on the train if I haven't done all the reading or something in time. So it is. But it kind of worked. It is a long day, but it's a really good day going into uni. Actually doing the sessions in person rather than online, I think all of us have found it really beneficial.
And I get to go to the gym at lunch for an hour as well.
You do, yes.
Some sneaky little benefits there sometimes.
This is it. And honestly, they're really supportive. And the last point I would make is April's studied recently, if you don't mind me saying so, April. So I feel like she's really brilliant at the assignments and stuff. I have not studied recently, and I get slightly frustrated with myself over the assignments. Not that I should do especially, but everyone's coming from different backgrounds.
Absolutely. And age ranges too.
And age ranges, huge. I mean, just completely different places.
Vast,
and there is so much support from the lecturers at uni, from the tutor you'll have at uni, and like Amy said, from her and other people, from each other. And I've had all some of the social workers in my team and the AYSE students. They've all offered to help me and look over stuff and give advice. So don't let the academic side put you off, because I know some people get nervous about that. I think there is so much support there, and it is a mix of academic and practical. And whoever you are, if you get to the point of getting to university, I'm not saying you can't fail, but it would be difficult because you really are supported all the way through. And it's you that's got to do the work, but you'll have people there in your corner, spurring you on and giving you advice the whole way. So I think that's really important, not to let that put people off.
Amazing. Thank you, Dan and April. Hopefully that's been helpful for everybody to hear a bit from people that are actually in it and doing it. So back to where we were at. So what's next? Hopefully, after everything you've heard, you're thinking, right, Amy, so how do I apply? So first, I want to show you a little video with some advice about applying. I'm hoping this is going to work.
Can't hear it, Amy.
Oh no. Hang on then. We may have a technical error. I don't think I know how to solve that, unless anyone has any magic wisdom. Give me 2 seconds. No, okay. What I will say I will do is I will make sure that that video is available as a link to people when we send out the recording for today. I'm not going to mess around now and risk losing any other options. So those top tips will be in there, but I am also going to go through some of those now in the next couple of slides anyway. So when you're applying, make sure that you are focusing on the job description and the person specification. So Erin talks about this in the video that we would have shown. That is what we use to shortlist and score on. So we have a checklist and we score on a scale based on what you tell us in that, and we tick it off against that job description. Now, I am aware I've had a couple of queries that the job description that's out with the job advert is for a family worker. That is the right job description. That is the one that we use against the apprenticeship at the moment. We don't have a specific one for an apprentice. It's because the type of work you will be doing will be very aligned with what our family workers do. Make sure you cover all the areas. Your application really is your time to shine. Tell us about you. Tell us why you want to be a social worker. Tell us about your journey of how you've got here. We want to know it all. You have that opportunity to really fill that in the statement section. I want to get that sense of why you're here. Make sure that you highlight your key experience. Don't rely on the job history to tell us about your experience. Use the statement section to really shine a light on those important parts. This is really important because we do require those 2 years front-face experience with either young people, families or adults. So tell us what you've been doing that meets that criteria. This can be from a wide range of things. We can be looking at running youth clubs, doing clubs, caring responsibilities, any work, volunteer roles, even being a care experienced young person or a person with lived experience can fall into that category. Also, make sure that you do consider the Dorset values and how you fit them. Tell us really clearly. Don't assume that we're going to be able to pick that out, and no, don't be subtle in your application. Really sell your key points. Do list your qualifications as requested in the form. If you are asked for interview, we will then look at your certificates, so please don't panic that there isn't an option to upload them. We view them in person when we see you for interview. And the same as we do for your documents for your right to work in the UK and for any future DBS check. So as I've already kind of said, make yourself stand out. We get a lot of applications for the apprenticeship programme. Last year we had 106 applications for 7 places. So make yours the application that really sticks in our mind. So you've applied and what's going to happen next. The applications close on the 8th of March at midnight, and then our task begins to read all those applications and shortlist against the criteria as I've just mentioned. We will then invite 16 people who are the highest scorers from that shortlisting to a first stage interview. Everybody will be contacted via email either way, whether you've been successful at that point or not. Please be patient with us about that after the closing date. It can take us a while to get through all the applications and work out who are the top scorers. If you aren't successful and you would like some feedback on your application, it's not automatically going to be provided, but you can absolutely request it, and I will then provide that within a reasonable timescale. Those who are successful will be invited to interviews, and at the moment they're currently planned to be at the end of March, beginning of April time. You will have the opportunity to select your own date and time based on a first come first serve system. So you will all be alerted at the same time of the outcome, and so it's really up to you to access that link and get your slot. The interviews will be in person at County Hall in Dorchester. We can offer reasonable adjustments for interviews, so please do ask us and make us aware. If you have ticked it on your application form, please don't assume that we will remember that. Do come back to us and tell us directly if you're offered an interview. But where possible, we do like to offer interviews in person. So my top tips for interviewing are really think about how you present yourself. So this can cover a whole realm of areas, from how you dress. You are applying to be in a professional service, so dress accordingly. Be on time, as to allow yourself plenty of time to park. Can be a bit busy in Dorchester depending on what days you're coming. The car park around County Hall is now a public car park, so you can park there and pay to park. And make sure you've left yourself time to find where you need to be. Also, really think about the words that you use in your interview. Language is so important in social work, so be mindful of how you talk. Make sure that you bring everything with you that you've been asked to bring. Interviews aren't just about how you answer the questions. It's also about showing that you can follow instructions that you've been sent and be organised enough to bring what is needed. We are looking at that. Know what you've written in your application, know how you meet the person's specification and job description, and think about how you want to tell us about that in person. And do some research. I think April touched on this. So know about Dorset's core values and how you meet them. Know a little bit about social work values and some basics about social work with children. We're not expecting you to know it all. Like Dan said, you have got 3 years to learn, but a little bit of base knowledge is always helpful. You will also be asked about your locality preference in the interview, so be prepared, maybe have a little think and do a bit of research about the different areas. Please, by all means, bring notes to read before your interview, before you come in, but please do be aware that we don't allow notes in the interview. So that's to ensure that we're being fair and consistent to everyone. And just remember, this really is your moment to shine. Above all, show us who you are. And Dan mentioned this. What we're really looking for, particularly at the first stage interviews, is who you are as people. Do you fit with Dorset's value base, and who you are as people as much in terms of fitting with Dorset Children's Services? We can teach knowledge, we can't teach personal ethics and values that align with ours as a local authority and with social work practice. So just keep that in mind. So after the first round interviews, everybody will be contacted whatever the outcome, and feedback will be provided verbally, over the phone, and then in an email. The top 10 scorers at this round will then be invited to start the application process with Solent University and to an interview with them. An interview is pretty much guaranteed unless there's some really extreme reason we realise that you can't be offered that interview, as we work in close collaboration with them under the apprenticeship scheme. And they will already know who we've pre-selected to come through to that next stage. At the moment, it's hoped that those interviews will take place over towards the end of April, beginning of May. The interview with Solent consists of an online Teams interview with an academic staff member, a person with lived experience, and myself. And then you also have to do a timed online essay that Solent set a mark, and they will send you all the links to the things that you need. At that stage, the top 7 scorers will then be offered an apprenticeship place. And will go on to carry on completing their application with Solent and then the onboarding for a job with Dorset Council. So that does mean you have to give notice on your current employment, and you will be employed with a full-time contract to Dorset Council. That's the point at which we will do DBS and references, and any offers are subject to those being completed successfully. The expectation is that successful candidates will be required to be in post by the end of August 2026 at the latest, to start the academic year, which starts at the beginning of September 2026, and then your learning journey with us will begin. So thank you for this afternoon. That has been a lot of information in a short space of time. You will have access to the recording, and I think potentially the PowerPoint as well. As I've already said, applications will close at midnight on the 8th of March. Don't miss that point. We cannot accept applications past then. And I really wish you all the best with your applications and hope to meet some of you at interview. So on to if we have any questions in the Q&A, Katie.
Yeah, there's quite a few in there. Can you see them, or do you want me to?
Hang on, I'm coming back. Bear with me. Right. I probably can see them now. Are there any that have stood out while I'm just trying to have a quick look through?
Well, somebody asked about the uni study days, but Dan has kindly answered that.
Okay. I don't know if I can see them actually. Oh no, hang on. There we go. I've got them.
Yeah.
I have. Okay, let's work. I've got 8. Is that right? Is that what you're seeing? Okay, perfect. So I've got the first one at the top. Oh, the 1 day a week university. Oh, so Dan, you answered that, didn't you? Yes. So they are in Southampton. It's 1 day a week for definite. Sometimes that's working out at 2 days a week when there are extra skills days. Some of those are remote sometimes, aren't they, Dan and April? It's a bit of a mix, but majority of it is the expectation that you do have to go to Southampton for them. And Dan already talked about I am seeing a massive benefit in these guys going and doing face-to-face teaching, and the quality of what they're learning from that face-to-face interaction. So that's one of the reasons why we have switched to Solent as our provider. So next one is, would anyone from the team be able to talk to secondary students in person or virtually? We have a lot of interest at Budmouth. Absolutely. Baron, if you don't have my email, we can get it to you. The other option is, if you go onto the application, the job advert, there is a main social work recruitment email address. Email that, ping me an email, and we will talk. There are either people from the workforce development team that go out and talk to schools, or absolutely, I am more than happy to come and do that as well. So we can definitely arrange that. Thank you.
I'll put your email in a reply. Was that a good idea?
Perfect. Yes, please. Thank you, Katie. I'm just too scared to do anything too technical in case I break something right now. Next one, Dan, is when you finish university, do you get to pick a department within children's services for your ASYE or something different? So what happens at the end of your apprenticeship is that there are discussions around where we have vacancies for the ASYE. We are a little bit led by workforce need and where we have those slots in the structure. However, helpfully, Katie is actually our ASYE coordinator and works very closely alongside me with both programmes. But there is room for discussion around kind of what we've got available, and we do try to listen to people as best we can. And particularly in terms of locality, there is no sense in us having someone who lives in Bridport and making them drive all the way to the north every single day. So we will certainly have some discussion around that. We're currently in the process of slight restructure within children's services in terms of our family help and our child protection teams becoming much more combined. So by the time this cohort finish, it will look slightly different anyway. But yes, absolutely, we are always, aren't we, Katie, open to discussion around kind of, we're not in the business of making people unhappy. So if people have a particular preference, we will do our absolute best to try and support and make that happen. We can't always guarantee it, and it's the same with placements. When you're on the course, we do our best to offer what people would like, but again, we can't always guarantee it. Right, Hannah, do I need an MVQ or a level 3 before I can apply? So what you do need is you just need your GCSE English. We have dropped the requirement for GCSE Maths this year, and you need the 2 years experience. That's all you need in terms of qualifications to be able to apply. April, I can see you laughing about the fact we've dropped the Maths.
It was a horrible maths exam I had to do and I didn't like it at all. So
yeah, so just GCSE English we need evidence of, and yeah, just your 2 years experience. Anything else you don't need to apply. Tilly, hello, super excited to be here. Due to the high level of applicants I'm sure you get, what are specific skills you are looking to see when deciding who to interview? I applied last year. Okay, so hopefully, Tilly, I've answered some of that with the slides I've done already. If you want to have a further conversation, more than happy for you to email me and we can discuss if there's something you're still not quite sure about. But the key thing for us is we shortlist against the job description and the person specification. So to just make sure you're telling us how you fit that, how you fit our values and why you want it. Gemma, yes, absolutely, you can get the recording of this. Erin, who is our wonderful recruitment person, is going to help me work out how we make sure we can share that with you. So again, just be patient. We will make sure we get it to people in a timely manner. Shannon, if successful, okay, how does it work with placing people in teams if they're already working for children's social care? So what I can tell you is that if you're already working in a social care team, we do move you to a different team. Now, I know that probably feels really mean, but historically it has not worked when we've left people who have been doing, say, for example, a family worker role for us. It makes it really hard for the teams that they're already in to differentiate that they are now an apprentice and a student, which is different from being a family worker. So we find that it's easier to move people to a fresh team, a new start, and you get a contract as an apprentice rather than the job that you're doing. So you do still have to give notice on your current role for Dorset Children's Services and then are recruited into a new role. Hopefully that answers that one. Can I ask where the locality teams are based? Absolutely. So, well, actually, that's a little bit complicated to ask because we do have several. So Dorchester are based in Dorchester. Dorchester and West are based, so West team is based in Bridport, but some of them do work out of Dorchester as well. Chesil are based in Weymouth. Purbeck are based in Wareham. East, I'm trying to remember them all now. East are based in Ferndown. Who have I missed? North are based mainly in Blandford for an office, but also they do have an office based in Sturminster Newton as well. Did I cover everybody?
I think so. Did you say Chesil?
Yes.
Yes,
Weymouth for Chesil.
Yeah.
So, but if you go on to the Dorset View website and Google Children's Services, it should come up with all the base addresses. If not, when we send out the recording, I can send out a link to the relevant information as well. Emma, yes, hopefully I've answered this. You do need to show your GCSE certificates. If you are invited to interview, I will check all certificates then and take copies for our records. Cara, the rough idea of daily working hours. So it is a full working day. So Dorset's core hours are 8:40 till 5:20 and then 8:40 till 4 o'clock on a Friday. So they are full-time 7.5 hour days effectively, with an hour for lunch is the structure. There is some flexibility around that, but you will be expected to be in work every day of the 4 days that you are due to be. We don't offer part-time hours for the apprenticeship because we just can't, because it doesn't fit with the national model for the apprenticeship programme. If you've already submitted your application, are you able to go back in and add to it? Now, I think the answer to this is no, but what I will do is check with, unfortunately I didn't add, I think Erin is here, but I didn't add her as a presenter, so she can't talk to me, but I will check with Erin, but I do think the answer is no to that. But let me check that out. And again, you've commented as anonymous. If you want to email me on the social work recruitment email address so I know who you are and I can link with you, I can find out that information for you. Good afternoon. I'd like to ask if the role comes with sponsorship for those who require it. So is that, I'm assuming that that's on the basis that maybe you're an overseas looking for work sponsorship, in which case then that would be a no to that, I'm afraid, for this programme. There will be other routes in, but there's not something that Dorset offer at this moment in time. Yes, maths and English functional skills are absolutely enough to qualify. When do applicants need to be submitted by? So I've said that's March the 8th at midnight is the last application date. And each year they roughly go out at about this time every year. and the plan is at the moment that it will be a yearly. So yeah, we do one intake a year, and the recruitment process starts about now, because it does take a little while to get through all the stages and then give enough time for people to give notice if they need to before they start. Okay, so the next one. Is it Monday throughout the 3 years, or it changes? So that's a really good question. At the moment, it's a Monday. We haven't had the timetable for year 2 yet. We moved to Solent, so the people that are covering in year 1, like Dan and April, are our first cohort with Solent. I haven't had any information to suggest that it will be different, but I can't swear to that. So, but the expectation would be that we would find out in plenty of time so that people can make arrangements in terms of childcare and stuff. I don't know, Dan and April, have they shared with you when they'll let you have the year 2 timetable as yet? No.
I doubt it will be
so.
anytime soon.
No,
They can,
but
it can be a bit
I'm
difficult
expecting
with
it in
schedules.
August.
Yeah,
maybe
but
the
we
day
will
before.
be advocating for it to be in enough time if there is a change to uni
I can't
day.
imagine it would be a change from what they've said.
No. What I would say, I mean, it has at least the Monday, the proper study day has stayed consistent.
Consistent, absolutely.
There are what they call the skills days, which are usually on a Tuesday, and it was one time on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But the main study day is consistent throughout. So that's at least for this year. So you'll know at least like for the next so many months of that year what you're doing. So
yeah, and Southampton, Solent, they work very much in collaboration with us. They've been very responsive to kind of changes to the timetable and such like. So yeah, we would be advocating that people know in enough time if it is going to change from a Monday. Kelsey, okay, so you've had an issue with the application. Can you email me either on the address that Katie put in or the social work recruitment address, and we can have a discussion to see what we can do about that. Shannon, yes, possibly not today, but maybe tomorrow, if that's okay, in terms of giving me a call. But we can certainly talk. That's absolutely fine. Anonymous, who can I speak to for advice, please? That would be me. So make contact with me somehow, and we could arrange to have a chat. Cara, about the, okay, yeah, absolutely. So there's quite a few people questioning about amending applications they've already made. Leave that with me. If people ping me an email so I know that you need to know the answer to that, because I just get your names on here, I don't necessarily get emails straight away, and then we can look into whether that's possible. Does your own real life events help as qualifications? So not in terms of qualifications, but in terms of potentially the 2 years experience. So it depends what they are. But we are certainly this year looking at taking kind of lived experiences as part of that 2 years experience, depending on what they are. Lily has asked about relocating to get the role. Absolutely, you can apply. Anybody can apply from anywhere, but there is an expectation that obviously you will be working in Dorset, so you would potentially need to be looking at relocating. And then I think the last one is, can you ask which office you will be placed and you have availability to travel every day, or you have Okay, so yes, we, like I said, we will ask at interview in terms of preference for locality. We are guided by workforce need and balancing out how many apprentices we have across all the different teams. You know, we can't have 7 all in one area because that would be too much for those teams to cope with. But absolutely, there is some discussion. And yes, there is an expectation that you have to be available to travel every day. So part of the job expectation is that you do have a driving licence and access to a car that you can use for that role. It's not really a job role that you can do getting the bus, purely because the buses in Dorset just aren't conducive with making that happen easily. And yes, you will. The expectation is we do have flexible working and there is the opportunity to work from home, but as apprentices and as learners, the expectation is that people are in the office the majority of those 4 days that they're in work, because that is where the best learning is going to happen for you. And I hope Dan and April would kind of agree with that, that's the best way. Okay, I think I've answered all the questions. Katie, can you,
Yeah, I think that's it at the moment.
Fabulous. In that case then, thank you very much. I'm gonna, yeah, no, I don't need to stop sharing. So thank you very much everybody for joining us this afternoon. I hope that has been helpful, and that you have gained some information that's gonna help with your applications and then the interview process if you are successful. as I say, more than happy to answer any queries. Just do please bear with me. You can probably appreciate we get quite a large influx of inquiries at this time of year, and I will answer as soon as I can. And obviously I know when the closing date is, so I will make sure I'm answering in a timely manner for people to make those applications. So
we've got one more question, Amy.
Oh,
sorry,
that's all right.
Somebody's asked, does it have to be 2 years experience working with families, or can it just be lived experience?
So it has to be a total of 2 years, so that whether that's a mix or whether that's just lived experience, put it on the application form, and then we will then look at what you're saying that is. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Katie, how I've put that?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Thank you very much, everybody. So yeah, we will endeavour to get the recording out to people as soon as possible, and any inquiries in the meantime, do get in contact. Thank you very much, and thank you, Dan and April, for your insight.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.